Alright, so I thought I'd talk about the Switch 2 Direct, the very first one we got today. Almost wound up skipping this discussion because until the last 5 or 10 minutes of the presentation, I didn't really feel like there was much to really talk about, honestly, that probably hasn't already been said a bunch. I mean, right here, we know it's about to kick off with some Mario Kart World. And yeah, at first looking at it, it's just kind of like we knew Mario Kart was coming. It looks good, it looks ambitious. Other people have probably said it, but I'll reiterate that, when they're talking about free roam, hopefully there's stuff to do in the free roam mode, whether it be collectibles or if they go like a Diddy Kong Racing, Crash Team Racing, story mode type thing. But besides that, it wasn't until like after the direct, like we saw the one new character pretty clearly, the Moo cow, but people were dissecting the trailer and going through, screenshots, and they had title screen-ish key art. That stage, the Donkey Kong Arcade inspired one's pretty cool, I will say though too. But yeah, in all that dissection, there's so many new playable characters. A lot of fun picks from the enemies Mario's encountered throughout the years. I always thought I would main Goomba when he was finally added, but I don't know. I might be a Fishbone main now. There's Moo Cow. And at least Goomba got 2 spots on the key art for some reason. I almost forgot about the whole costume thing. I'm curious as to what they're doing here, too. I don't know if they've gotten into more details. It's an item, or if, just the ability to change selectable costumes mid-race or something. Thing is, there's so many playable characters, I can imagine this sort of turning into only, like, the main cast having that type of attention, but it would be cool for some of the other characters to get that. I don't even know with some of them what you would do, maybe just, like, a hat or a scarf or something. We'll see. The new system features, they're nice to have a new convenient way to access certain abilities and to get a little more use out of NSO, but we're talking, We Speak, or just general game chat that's been around forever, and DS download play. I feel like most people at this point have found an alternative in something like Discord or whatever. Maybe, long term it'll work out, but short term, I don't know how you're going to convince people to switch from, the way they've already sort of been playing since this wasn't offered for so long. The only thing that was kind of cool, but I don't even know if it's a new thing, is being able to view your party members' game sessions. I could be wrong. I thought that was a thing either at, launch or a major update for like PS4 and Xbox One, if I remember correctly, and it just sort of died down. I could be completely wrong, but if I'm not, it just kind of, I don't know, I never really heard of anyone really using it, but I don't know, maybe Nintendo will find a way to make it, fun and easy to use and more approachable and popular. Hell, almost get COVID reaction vibes from this whole thing, with them stressing, playing together without actually being together, and how they were probably designing features for the new system around that point. The whole SD card situation is a little baffling to me, too. It makes sense. Games are getting bigger and more complicated, so you probably need a more high-performance storage solution, but I didn't dig deep, but from my little Amazon search, they're kind of expensive to, get a decent amount of storage. I kind of wish, I'm pretty sure the latest Xbox and PlayStation both, you need an SSD to play new games, but you can use old HDD drives that are a lot cheaper to play, backwards compatible games or ideally smaller, less intensive games. So I don't know. I feel like the Switch 2 would have benefited from a second SD card slot for that purpose. Nintendo Switch 2 versions of Switch 1 games kind of rubs me off the wrong way. It doesn't help that one of the first games they showed was Mario Party Jamboree, and I actually just bought the Switch 1 version like a month or two ago. So I don't know. I feel a little ripped off. Maybe I should have just been more patient, but I would have been willing to wait to have a complete edition, and it just feels weird to, now, especially for like a newer game like that too, to now need new hardware to experience everything and to maybe have a fee attached to it too. Like, I get it a little more with games that came out a while ago, or I don't know if they were more transparent like before this about that. I don't know. Something else I just thought of too, going back to the SD card thing too, if you can even just use your old Switch SD card and hook it up right up to, because it's probably going to be a pain in the ass to re-download everything or try to do some sort of system transfer that's going to take forever if you have a lot of games. The third-party offering was pretty good. I'll dive more into it later because I do wonder with other factors how much of a role third-party support will serve. But yeah, I actually just got a new computer like less than a month ago. So I was actually kind of hoping, because I know the Switch 2 is a little bit better spec-wise than my old computer, that you would get, a couple games that my old computer would have struggled with. And, we got Elden Ring and Cyberpunk 2077, which fit right in there. But for me personally, it's not really a big deal. Like I said, I got my new computer, and I would rather just play these games on there with better performance and access to Steam overlay features and mods and that sort of thing. And, get a Steam Deck if I want portability and convenience, for third-party titles. I don't know, maybe I'm just not the market, and if it is your only console or whatever, it's good to see. I just kind of wonder a little about it. But another Hyrule Warriors game, and I like the Warriors games. I really liked Age of Calamity, but I'm so sick at this point of the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom universe. Like, it kind of hit me, like a fourth into Tears of the Kingdom, that it's just like shit. Every Zelda game just about would introduce, a new world, new characters, a different art style, and we've been stuck with this one for almost 10 years. Well, definitely be over 10 years more than likely before we see another new era, I guess you can say, for the 3D Zelda games. And I'm just sick of it. I'm probably not even going to pick this up. I'm having a hard enough time motivating myself to go back and finish Tears of the Kingdom anytime soon. So I will say GameCube Virtual Console exceeded my expectations. It's a really good library, at launch and in the future. Like, at some point, I probably will get the expansion pass. I've never had it. Even though I already have a lot of these games, like, I was kind of interested in Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale or whatever it's called, because I remember playing it up one of my neighbors growing up, but they're like so expensive now, so I never bought them. But to even, have Soul Calibur 2, which is awesome, and, have online with that, and F-Zero GX, and, if they had Melee, the original Animal Crossing, some Mario parties, and that, like, I can definitely justify a year subscription for fun with some of those games. I mean, like I said, play those Pokemon ones. Chibi Robo and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance are pretty big too, but I actually got the Wii version of Chibi Robo and an English patch for it already, and I got Fire Emblem Path of Radiance like in between Awakening and Three Houses, so you could still get it for under 3 digits of a price, but it was more expensive than it was when it launched. But this new From Software game, once again, I just haven't gotten into From Software things, at least not yet. But I do understand this is a really big deal. They're a really popular company right now, and for Nintendo to get not only an exclusive game, but from what I understand, from what I've been seeing online, to have a game that reminds people of the Sony exclusive, infamous Bloodborne, it's a big deal, I think. Just kind of cool to see. I don't know what else to really say about it. Like I said, I'm just not really into it, personally. After this, you got this little trailer that initially almost reminded you of a Smash trailer, but there's a reason for that. It's a Masahiro Sakurai produced Kirby game for the first time in how long, and it's a sequel to Kirby Air Ride. This is exciting for me. I really like Kirby Air Ride. Hell, I've even had conversations multiple times the past couple of years where I'm just talking to people like, yeah, Kirby Air Ride's amazing. It's almost like the first battle royale, and you're almost surprised they didn't re-release or do anything with it, with how popular the genre became. I do question it a little because Nintendo really didn't show off a lot of first-party exclusives, and I don't know, I feel like the Switch one had more, the first year or so, but maybe they just haven't gotten to some of those more smaller-scale titles. But, they're 3 for 3 for me, I will say. I want to get all 3 of, the big first-party ones they showed. But to have 2 of them in, kind of similar genres, obviously they can kind of go different directions and keep both of them kind of fresh, but it is, a little weird, I guess. But yeah, I hope they redo the city trial map on top of at least having one brand new map. I think that alone, online play, maybe the first one was 4-player, maybe if they, I don't know how many would work, but this one's exciting. Donkey Kong Bonanza is pretty exciting too. I'm not really a big Donkey Kong fan. I play the arcade ones. The only one I really liked that I played though was 64. I could never get into the country games, but this one looks really fun. I wonder how long, because I remember this looks like it might be from the Odyssey team, and I remember a year or 2 after Odyssey hearing about them maybe working on a 3D Donkey Kong game, so I wonder how long this one's been in the works. But it looks really fun. Hopefully, my only concern, though, is that I do like 3D Mario, too, especially, since this might go a little bit of a different direction, maybe a little more beat-em-up aspects in that. We'll have to see. But, I just kind of hope that it's not another, how many years it's been until, the next 3D Mario, personally. The one thing they kind of skirted around, though, and there was a reason for it, was the pricing. And yikes, I don't know, everything with the console is really expensive. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, third-party support's cool, but it's you can get a Steam Deck, the base model, with the same amount of storage for $50 cheaper. Granted, I don't think it comes with a dock, but I feel like most people would kind of overlook that unless Nintendo somehow does, a really good job of stressing, hey, we have a dock, even though Steam Deck is cheaper, it doesn't come with one, And, just the novelty of having all these big third-party games portable just isn't there now because you have Steam Deck and all these other consoles. Or hell, even if you sacrifice some of that convenience, you can get, a more powerful PS5 or Xbox Series console with PS5, particularly having, good reliability with third-party consoles. or I'm sorry, third-party titles, and it's just like, I don't know, Nintendo will always sell systems with their first-party titles, but on top of that, also having games at $80, Mario Kart's $80 in the US, just about skipping right over 70. I think Tears of the Kingdom was the only 70 game. Granted, it seems like it'll be subjective, I guess, on what game gets what price, because I think Donkey Kong is also supposed to be 70 for whatever reason. But that's just yikes. I mean, people thought Rockstar would be the one to make the next price jump, and I've still been thinking they're going to price GTA 6 at 90, but maybe sort of sell the physical edition as a collector's item for 100, just because I think people are expecting 100, so I think they'll get praise if it's only 90. And I don't know, I feel like there will be a bit more of a drop off when you see that third digit in the price come up, you know? Or I guess technically when you're a penny short of that. I don't know, I'm normally someone who waits for current Nintendo games until I can find them, secondhand, used, $15 to $20 off. So to have the most expensive major base platform out there and the most expensive games, at least initially, it looks like. I think it's a bold move. We'll see how that works out for them. I think Nintendo's a little confident and maybe, a little greedy after their success last generation. And then there's rumors physical games will be $10 more too, and that, yikes. And Nintendo games are notorious for not really going on sale a lot either. So to me, that makes, the extra $50 from, the Steam Deck or just, other major players, even just more of a tougher sale, honestly. And like I said, the storage thing too right now. I mean, what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. They'll be just fine. It'll be really successful. But I don't know. I'm just kind of scratching my head looking at them compared to the competition. I probably wasn't going to pick up one of these, one of the new consoles at launch, but I don't know. I can wait for Mario Kart. I can probably wait on the other games they announced too. It's going to be Smash and Fire Emblem that are going to really push me. Yeah, because I'm kind of hungry for a new Fire Emblem too. I know we just got one not that long ago, but with the rumors of Genealogy remake and a new console now sort of on the scene, it's just I'm kind of itching a bit for it, but we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I just got a computer, so I don't know if I'm going to be making any major purchases anytime soon. But I was kind of leaning: am I going to do a Switch 2 or am I going to do an ultra wide monitor? And I'm leaning more towards the monitor at this rate. Or even a Steam Deck if they really take their time with the IPs that I'm really waiting for. Just anything particularly interesting. It was funny watching the internet discourse just on Smashboards and other social media kind of flip from wow, that was all really exciting to holy shit, look at these prices. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how it all goes down. And I know how I am. I didn't want a Wii U for the longest time, and then a few games I was really interested in came out, and then it was like, I don't need it, and then one day I'm buying one. So I don't know if this will be more like that or more looking to get it earlier, based on so far a stronger first party lineup or just anticipation for what the future may hold. But like I've been saying, we'll see.